Hello, Victor here from RestoreYourMercedes.com. Today we have a 1993 Mercedes 600 SL. This car right here has only 25,000 miles, which is practically brand new. The condition is awesome. Like even on the, as you can see on the headlight bezels, it's still brand new. So that's something that wears first, these little plastic trims. So as you can see, it's perfectly fine, but I had to remove the intake and remove the positive crankshaft ventilation tube that runs around here. Now let me show you what happens. Basically, the crankshaft ventilation starts from here. As you can see, there is an opening right there. The tube goes along. It sits on this little tab, goes further down. It connects to two hoses. One hose goes there, just right here, this one right here, and the second hose goes on the other side, which is right over here. Now these hoses, they connect to throttle bodies. Underneath the throttle body, basically, let's just take passenger side for example. It's gonna be easier. As you can see, the hose connects to the bottom of the throttle body right over here. So it sits, basically they connect, it says here, that's the best I can get. So these two connect to each other. Now the air is being sucked in through the opening here. Now as you can imagine, in front of this throttle body there is mass airflow sensor. So what happens is that tube, here it is on the bench here, that tube cracks. There's one crack right here, we can clearly see it. Okay, one. Second crack, you can see right there, pretty horrible. Okay, and the third crack. So basically, this is how it was when I removed it. I didn't break it. It was broken when I got there. So the air is being drawn through these holes into that hole in the throttle body, as we spoke earlier, right there on the bottom of the throttle body, in front of mass airflow sensor. So basically you're creating a huge vacuum leak, even though the engine runs, but the mass airflow sensor does not get correct reading. It gets less readings because the car sucks air from somewhere else, not past the mass airflow sensor. And in my case, the RPMs would go up and down, up and down, up and down. It would fluctuate really hard. Sometimes on cold start, the car would just die. So when you would disconnect mass airflow sensors, it would stabilize, and the RPMs on idle would have been nice and steady. But once it warmed up, it was decent. The RPMs did not jump much. There's a bunch of parts here from this car. I mean, it's dark, you can see it, but so I had to go there. I did a smoke test and I realized that this is where the smoke is coming from there, from that tube. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to get to because you see what it is. It's like under the intake. Also, you have to lift up intake extenders. Maybe at the same time it's a good idea to do valve cover gaskets, but mine are not leaking, mine are fine. This job took me 2 hours to remove the intake and remove that pipe. So it's not really that terrible, but the intake is heavy. It's funny angle to remove it. Kind of like lift it up and just go forward. Very limited space. It basically hits, when you remove the intake, it lifts up like this and then you tilt it. Push it backwards a little bit. Have to take out the spark plug wire from the last spark plug here. And power steering reservoir, pull it as much as you can forward, and it will have just barely enough space to go against it and pull out that way. As you can see, there's a scratch on the, this is right here, there's a scratch. This is where the bolt actually dragged along, not the bolt, the edge of the intake. So, but I did make it, so I didn't have to remove that reservoir for the power steering. Injectors were like difficult actually to pull out, and the actual hose that goes and connects, it splits actually into two. That was difficult to remove, this piece right here. This is the other end of this tube. If you would imagine, it would just lay there, down in there, and here it would branch out to passenger and driver side throttle bodies. So to remove this, it was quite hard because this is built on to this assembly here, to this pipe, and other ones are rubber, so there's not much space to pull the rubber out, but it is doable. Everything is done by people. So, but as you can see, it just fell right off. It's, you know, it's just that easy. Again, this is something that I did not do. I did not break it. Just was like that. Once I took it off, I actually saw the crack right in front of my eyes, because this one was very apparent. Like, I could see it once I removed the intake. This crack was visible right from the top without even touching anything. And again, 25,000 miles is very low mileage, but the thing is, back in the days in '93, there used to be updated part. This is the original part, and made in 1992. As you can see, September of 1992, right there. So this is the first design, and then Mercedes updated their design for a newer version, which is coming in tomorrow from the dealer. It's only like around $80. So supposedly the new part has different tubing. I think they're aluminum, so it does not crack anymore, supposedly. I mean, well, it's obviously going to be better than this, but you know, this is just terrible. I mean, it's like separates without any kind of force, and it's hollow. The tube itself is hollow, as you can see through the light. Just hollow tubing. It works, I guess this is some sort of like an oil separator or something. So when the oil is drawn, some fumes drawn in, and oil drawn in with those fumes, I guess it just sits there on the bottom of this tubing. I don't know. Or maybe it's just some sort of a muffler. I don't know. I mean, this is like for people who are engineers to discuss. Anyway, seals. Probably I will replace these. Most likely I will. There's some sort of silicone on the intake itself, and also some of it fell down into valves, so I'm gonna have to vacuum that. So as you can see, there's some silicone here. It's like weird stuff. Yeah. This is originally factory from Mercedes. And yeah, other than that, I mean, this is pretty much all. Good idea to clean out EGR valves. You know, this is pretty decent, but I mean, I can see light through it. But it's a good idea to clean, which I will do actually later on. Yeah, I mean, that's all. Basically, that's all I want to show. I mean, sometimes I have a few customers actually calling me asking me that RPMs go up and down and then they stabilize. I have a customer with a 93 in Ohio who actually has this problem. But then RPM stabilizes. I mean, they stabilize, and he says just keeps driving it like that. But I'm sure in his case that tube is bad. So I guess I hope this information helps somebody. I mean, it's not that terrible of a job. In one day it is totally doable. And you have to drain anything except for the fuel. You have to release that fuel pressure. I just let it drain, and it drained a lot of fuel on the floor, unfortunately. But I thought there's gonna be a little bit, but it actually drained a lot. I would say maybe half a gallon. It's still coming out actually, so it's just bizarre. As you can see, it's on the floor everywhere. It's terrible, but you know, this is what it is. Yeah. Well, don't be smoking. I'm not gonna be smoking here, so can do that. And again, I thought there's gonna be a little bit, but it turned out to be a lot. So, well, you know, that's what it is. All right. Well, hopefully this info helps somebody. And you know, if you need something like this done, if you're local, you can come by. I'm in Brooklyn, and my website is restoreyourmercedes.com. Thanks. Bye.